Match day 4 is complete. Groups E and F have finished their first game of the World Cup. So, like always, we're here to talk about them. So, 4 different games, an upset today, um, a thrashing of a North American team, that should have won, and another
Mhm,
no draw,
mhm.
which we've seen a lot this World Cup. So yeah, we'll just get right into them from the. Oh, first, I want to say thank you for 80 subscribers. We hit that last night. Yes, to whoever was that, thank you. So we're 20 away from our goal for the end of the year. So, yeah, if you like our content, want to see more, please consider subscribing and help contribute to that. So, all right, let's just get right into it. First, we'll talk about the most recent game that ended, the most controversial game of the day, Canada
Mhm,
Belgium.
mhm.
I know Dave has some thoughts about it. So,
Oh, I was telling you right before we started recording. I felt Canadian today. I was with them the entire way. Um, I think Belgium were lucky to get a win with that. There, I think they were poor. I don't think they're going to do much this World Cup. But I already said that before the World Cup. I didn't like the way they played. I
yep.
thought they're just not it right now. De Bruyne was off it, which was surprising to me. There's I should well, I don't have the thing put up, but there was this picture of this standstill of when they're on the break. He's got Batshuayi to his right, open, wide open, and for some reason he goes for a pass that's just completely covered by two
Mm-hmm.
other Canadian defenders, and it's just so unlike him to miss
Mm-hmm.
the right pass and make a poor play. But that was him all game. He was just poor all game. I was not. I was surprised. I was surprised, but whether he was playing well or not, Belgium just it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
This is
It's
a
not.
game for Belgium that like you expect them to somewhat steamroll the competition, right? Like with Canada,
Yeah,
Canada's not.
yeah.
This is their first World Cup in I think 36 years. Like this isn't a
Hmm.
team that should put up a fight against Belgium, and they did better despite their loss. They did way better um,
Yeah.
than Belgium did. I will pull up a stat here. They're the first World Cup team since 1978 to attempt at least 20 shots and one penalty kick and not score a goal. It's very depressing, but at the same time, I think Canada should, pat themselves on the back for
They
playing
played.
against.
They played excellently.
They play fantastic, and they just it's
I
really
w-
not their fault. I mean, they didn't put the ball in the back of the net, which is one big
yeah,
thing, but
yeah. That's pretty
and they did
important.
have a penalty, which pretty important. He
Hmm.
needed to win games. But the penalty, I will say, another thing in controversy there is Jonathan David has taken 9 out of 12, or has made 9 out of 12 penalties in his career,
Hmm.
and Alfonso
Hmm.
Davies has never taken one, and
Hmm.
he takes the one today and he misses it, and
Yeah.
I think there's a big.
Why does he take
Whoever
it?
is the most clinical, exactly. Whoever's the most clinical should take it, not your status on the team.
Yeah. He should
And
not be taking
so,
that. Never in a million years should he be taking that penalty. And can I just say, I want to add on top of Alfonso Davies, I actually think while he is by far and away Canada's best player, today he was quite poor. We've seen Alfonso Davies at his best. Today was not it. I thought okay, so what ended up happening is like in the first half, he played on the left, right? He was on the left. He was like that, like kind of
right.
left-sided attacker. And I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was particularly great, but I was okay. Second half, they moved him for some reason into the middle, like as an
Mm,
attacking playmaker. Terrible decision. He was non-existent after that. Why a guy with that speed, that power, that pace, and you ask him to be creative and try to thread passes through? No, 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 no. That was a terrible call by the manager, in my opinion. And Davies just had a overall poor game. And then when you put him in this position that's not even his strongest, you're gonna. I thought he was quite poor compared to everybody else around him. The defense, especially of Canada, were excellent, excellent. The guy who
definitely.
played for the MLS team, Montreal. I forget his name right now.
Yes.
There's one of them plays for Montreal.
Yes.
Excellent. He made this incredible tackle on Batshuayi last minute. He got up, he started pumping his fist. I was there with him. I was right there with him. He was
We felt Canadian.
phenomenal.
You felt
I felt
Canadian, dude.
Canadian. I felt Canadian right there. Yeah.
I will say also I just saw this on ESPN, but apparently this is what John Herdman, the manager of Canada, said to the team after the
Mhm.
loss. He said, "Quote: I told them they belong here, and we're going to go and F Croatia. It's as simple as it gets."
Oh,
So,
oh,
oh, this is
I like that.
this
I
next
like
game.
that.
This next game, I don't know, is it Monday or Tuesday next week? This is going to be a fire game. These Canadian players are going to come out with a certain fire. And to be
Yeah.
fair, I do want to give credit to Alfonso Davies in the way that, um, at such a young age, he has to be a leader for this team, of course. And
Right.
on the world stage, he's never been at this level internationally. So props to him because obviously from all the Canadian players, there's some nerves here because they're representing a whole country for the first time in 36 years. So I can't blame them entirely, and they definitely did themselves proud today. And it's still possible with Croatia, Morocco drawing 0-0. Canada still has every chance to make it out of this group stage and into the knockouts in second place. So the game against Croatia, I will say, is going to be one that we all need to watch, and should be very entertaining. So
I want to add one more thing.
Go ahead.
As well. I think pointing out the referee.
Yes.
Not that I. Of course, I think referees have a hard time a lot of the time. They get targeted for things that really you can't blame them for. But today was not one of those days. Today, the referee, for those who don't know, I forget his name right now. His name's like Jenny. I think it was a Jenny, something like that. He's Ugandan, and I don't want to call into light any of his credentials, but you may have known him well if you are on social media for football. Is that he called a AFCON game 5 minutes before full time, not even extra time, 5 minutes before full time, and didn't even go back to restart or fix his mistake. Literally just called the game there. Horrible, this rookie mistake. And now he's this game, and I want to say there's at least 2 or 3 calls that could have been penalties. There was this one play where Hazard back passes it, completely mishits it, back passes it, terrible pass, gets to a Canadian player. First of all, the linesman makes a huge mistake and calls it offside. If you know the rules of the game, a back pass that's meant to be a back pass that he purposely meant to do cannot be called offside on the opposing player. And that should not have been offside. And even then, the player then gets fouled, along with another penalty foul like a few minutes after that. And the referee does not call either of those. And VAR doesn't do anything. I thought the officiating was probably the worst I've seen of any game. The U.S. was bad, but this one was worse. This was blatant penalty calls that were just not even called. And I think Canada were harshly done in this. I
can agree. I think to make this a discussion about refereeing in general in this World Cup, I think we've seen some pretty poor refereeing throughout the whole World Cup. I think the word to describe it would be inconsistent, in my opinion. I mean, you have the penalty against Argentina that was given, and the exact same thing happened in the USA game that wasn't given for USA. So just things like that. I mean, obviously every individual referee is different. They see things differently, they call things differently, of course. But in a competition like this, there needs to be some consistency that we all see to provide the best outcome for everyone, most entertaining stuff. So disappointing, but it's something you literally cannot avoid. And so I guess we'll just see how it turns out, and maybe there'll be callbacks to, oh well, what if the referee didn't do this? Canada could be in the knockout stages, so on and so forth. I will say, Sunday, November 27th, Croatia play Canada at 8 a.m. our time. That's I think 4 o'clock UTC, 11 Eastern. So go ahead and check that out. That should be a good game. Same day at 11, by the way, Spain plays Germany. So that's going to be a day for sure.
Let's segue into Germany then.
There we go. Germany versus Japan, losing to Japan 1-2. Another team, team who's supposed to win that had 1-0 advantage at the half, losing 2-1. So what happened with it? What happened here for the favorites?
I mean, okay, this wasn't as Japan weren't as dominant as Canada were. I thought Canada was dominant. Japan weren't dominant. That being said, they played the game to their strengths. They counterattacked when they knew they could counterattack. They defended when they had to. Germany couldn't get any good shots, really. They had a penalty and maybe like 1-2 good shots. But other than that, it really was a struggle breaking down the Japanese defense. And like I said, since Japan played to their strengths, they hit on the counter for their first goal. First of all, both teams were poor finishing-wise. Honestly, I thought today overall, I think disregarding Spain, we know how that went. Disregarding Spain, those 2 games specifically, poor finishing, you could just all around. It was just bad, no composure, skying it so many times. Japan finally got a break, scored off a rebound. They're kind of what they needed to do. And then on the second goal to win it, Nicolas Soule is just completely not focusing on the free kick. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but he's miles away from the other 3 defenders with him to hold that line, and he's playing on. I forget his name right now. He was playing. It was excellent too. I feel bad, but that Japanese player that scored was excellent because he rode that line, broke it, tight finish, beating Manu Neuer, who had a good game, and finished at top. And it was just Japan playing to their strengths. And can I just give a shout out to the Japanese fans as well after the game?
Oh, of course, every tournament,
Yeah,
every 4 years,
every
always.
tournament.
This is staying till the end, cleaning up the stadiums,
Yeah.
cleaning even the Japanese team. Remember last World Cup, they cleaned up their locker room
That's
before
right.
they left.
That's right. Like
Pure
they
class.
make us look.
That's all you
They
can say.
make us look so bad.
I know it's pure class. Wherever you're throwing beers around and everything,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
pure class.
Uh,
I mean, for the Japanese Germany game, I'll just give you some stats right here, just to show
mhm.
it wasn't nearly as close as may have been let off. But Germany had 26 shots, Japan had 12. Germany had 9 shots on target, Japan had 4.
Mhm.
Possession wise, Germany had 74%, Japan had 26%. And passes, Germany had 771 passes, while Japan only had 269. So when you say play to
Damn.
their strengths, they really did. They
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
And I think
They did.
it opens up a whole conversation. I mean, you look at these upsets, right? And I think and a lot of these teams, granted they're not dominating these games, right? And that's not what I'm trying to say, but they're beating these teams when the odds are completely stacked against them. And most of these
Mm,
teams, they're mostly built by their domestic leagues that don't get the recognition that we give to the European leagues. I mean, like
mm,
especially Japan. Japan has a great, national league to their credit. Saudi Arabia, doesn't as much, but like they're mostly have domestic
yeah.
players, things like that. I think it's time to just put more recognition on them so they can actually do something. We've seen time and time
Actually,
again.
though, well, I completely agree. Only three
Mhm.
of Japan's starters were from the Japanese league. The
Right.
rest, beside bar one, were from the Bundesliga, which I actually think is another interesting point
Hmm.
because I think the Bundesliga is a very underrated league in terms of giving many players many opportunities, whether it's
Of
youngsters
course.
or even foreign players. But the Japanese, I think I want to say 7 or 8 were from the Bundesliga, whether it was
Mm.
from Daichi Kamada from Frankfurt or I think there was another guy from Dusseldorf. But like
Mhm.
they, it's kind of ironic. They play in
Mhm.
Germany and they beat the Germans.
They beat you. Well, I mean, that
Yeah,
also definitely helps because you know how Germans play, how
true,
they've grown
true.
up and played.
That's a
Um,
good point.
so it definitely gives them an advantage. Not the most you would think, but enough to,
It
as
helps.
you've seen,
Yeah,
win the game.
yeah.
This is a big result for Germany though, because if you look at the standings, we'll talk about this after as well. But Spain, thrashed Costa Rica 7-0, right? So for a lot of these teams, for most of these teams we talked about, um, yeah, every group bar Group A, which is the Dutch Ecuador group, as well as E now, has had a draw. But now Group E and A, they both have the top two teams have a win. So 3 points is big. That's a big difference for
Hmm.
Germany here. And Germany plays Spain next, and Germany, I think, needs to win that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely have to. If Spain wins, then Germany could count their losses and be out because Japan plays Costa Rica as well, and that should be a win. So Spain and Costa Rica on
Hmm.
top of 6 points. Literally, Germany can't make it out. So
Yeah.
that was a big result for Group B in general. Disappointing for Germans. Exciting for Japanese fans. Um, so it would have segued on to the Spain game then.
Yeah.
Like I said, demolition of
Uh,
Costa Rica. I mean, what more do you really expect? Like Costa Rica, easily, you know, bottom three weakest team here in the World
yeah.
Cup.
Yeah.
They're here consistently, but it's hard for them for sure. And we saw that with the 7-0 thrashing. I mean, against Spain. Credit to Spain though, of course, they dominated the young players. Of course, I think
Mhm.
Gavi is like the third youngest player to ever score in a World Cup game, behind Pele and another player.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I mean,
Mbappe
it's just
probably.
utter domination. No, it was just some older player.
Oh
Spanish
really?
name, I
Hmm.
think. Yeah, it might be Spanish
Oh,
name
okay.
player
I,
or
I
something like
I I was looking at the stats because I
that.
didn't truly recognize it. 18% possession for Costa Rica to 82 for Spain.
Hmm.
0 shots for Costa Rica to I don't
Yeah.
even remember how many shots for Spain. It was a lot. Um, it was just not fair. It was not fair.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest. I looked at that Spain lineup. I saw Rodri at center back. I saw no true main striker, and I saw
Hmm.
Azpilicueta at right back. And I was like, this is a weird lineup. I don't like this lineup.
Hmm. Hmm.
I will happily say that I was wrong.
Hmm.
That front three, no, with no true striker, while it can be a bad thing sometimes to have a true striker, it worked
Yes.
perfectly here. It allowed all three of them to rotate. Dani Olmo, Asensio, and Ferran Torres. It allowed all of them to rotate. The middle one would drop deep as like that false nine that Spain has kind of been trying to use recently. and they just absolutely tore apart. I mean, yes, it's a Costa Rica defense, but they still absolutely tore them apart. And Rodri at center back. I don't think, and I'm not a Man City fan, but I don't think he's ever played center back in his career before.
Right.
And he came in and was just excellent alongside Laporte. Again, yes, it's Costa Rica. I don't want to get too crazy, but
Right.
it was still an impressive performance by players that I didn't think were going to be able to pull that, at least that much of a demolition off. And Spain versus Germany is going to be interesting because I think Spain are going to be considered the favorites considering these results. But it would also be a tougher game for both teams. So we'll see how they handle it.
Germany could very easily come out with a win there. I mean, in all honesty, I think they just need to, change what they were doing. Not to say they were doing anything bad, right? I didn't watch the full game, but like stats wise, like they were doing everything well. It's just they gave up the counterattacks when they didn't need to. So that's gonna be a good game. As regards to the Spain game, they had 81.3% possession, which is the highest in a World Cup match since 1966. So
oh my god,
in 56 years. And they outpassed them 976 to 165. So it was just complete and utter dominance.
It was not. That's what they need to have a rule to just end the game at some point because
mercy rule.
It was just it was not fair.
Yeah. And then we'll just go on to the last one: Morocco, Croatia, ending in a 0-0 draw. Very even. I think I pinned in our video yesterday. I pinned Croatia winning it. I think, but I said it could go either way. Stats wise, it was very mixed. I think Croatia were overall the better team, but Morocco had more shots. So I'll name them off. Morocco had 8 shots, Croatia had 5, but both had 2 shots on target. Whereas Croatia had 65% possession and 642 passes to Morocco's 348. So I mean, and then Croatia had 5 corners, and so I think Croatia had more opportunities and overall, but no one could, break that no threshold.
It was a tight game.
But again, it was a very tight game. And this is the group that includes Belgium, Canada. So I think this is overall the result that both other teams wanted for themselves. So, okay. Predictions tomorrow. Another 4 games. Group G and H finish out start their World Cup tournament, and then we're done with the first round of games. So I'll start with Group G. First game: Switzerland, Cameroon. That should be a good game. I'm going Cameroon 2-0.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna go Switzerland 1-0.
Ooh, okay, all right, like that. Following game, I'll say the Group G game. Brazil, Serbia. We finally get to see Brazil in the World Cup.
That's not
an utter smacking. I believe I'm going 4-1.
4-1. Okay, that's fair. I think I'm gonna go 3-1. I'm gonna go 3-1. Yeah,
3-1. Okay, but it should be a solid Brazil win. Uruguay, South Korea. I think is going to be a really good game.
Very good game. Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm going Uruguay. I think it's going to be close. I'm going Uruguay 2-1. 2-1 here.
Same. I was going to say the same thing. I think Uruguay 2-1.
All right. It should be good. I think news for Uruguay, they're trying to rush back Ronald Araujo, which Barca doesn't like. Following last game of tomorrow, or the third game of tomorrow, but last game we're talking about is Portugal-Ghana, which I think is going to be a good game too. I think Ghana could surprise Portugal here. And I think
Ghana are the lowest ranked team in the tournament, just to let you know.
Oh, I know. I stand by it.
Okay.
I stand by it. Do we think Saudi Arabia was going to be Argentina? No. 2-1 Ghana off an 87th minute winner.
Ooh. Okay. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go... I don't know. I'll go 1-1 draw, but... Honestly, that's just because you went spicy, so I have to go a little spicy as well. But if I'm being honest, I do think Portugal will come out with a win.
Yeah. Truthfully, I mean, if I'm looking at it, correctly, with my glasses on, I think Portugal's going to thrash them. But I want to see Ghana succeed. I like Ghana. Who doesn't like Ghana?
It would be nice. Yeah.
And then so that would finish out the first game for every team, and then move on to the following 2. That Friday, which Friday includes England, USA, which is definitely the prime time. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Very.
All right, we'll end this Day 4 recap and reaction video here. If you've made it this far, again, thank you for watching. Thank you again for 80 subscribers. Please consider subscribing if you want to help us get to our ultimate goal of 100 subscribers. Like the video if you did indeed like it. And we hope you guys enjoy the World Cup just as we are, and enjoying these videos just as we are making them. So we'll see you guys tomorrow whenever the next video is released.